Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of the SGC presented by Playing with House Money. I'm Iceman. You can find me on Twitter at Iceman_1013. And this over here is my consigliere, DJ Prue, the live bet king, at PrueBaby10 on the Twitter. And you can find us at PW_House Money. But this is our all new soccer gambling show. You've heard me on the Playing with House Money for the last 12 weeks. We've been hitting winners left, right, and center on both the baseball and the soccer front. As baseball gets to the business end of the season, we've got football coming back. We have our Playing with House Money original show now airs on Thursdays. So if you didn't listen to it yesterday, go onto the YouTube, check it out. That's going to be on Thursday afternoons now. Once we get into football season, rolling with Thursday night football bets for you all. This section of the week primarily reserved for the soccer. So, yeah, we're going to dive in. We're going to chat some garbage. We're going to throw out a bunch of soccer bets. Prue's going to learn a lot. And ask all the questions that those of you that don't necessarily follow the soccer have got. So, yeah, how you doing today, my man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm just so happy that the SGC is finally making its appearance and its introduction to the world. I don't know how many. It's been months since I've been calling you the soccer goat. I'll make sure I say football on the SGC. But yeah, man, it's finally. It's great to see everybody will finally have a full segment to be able to really see, just how crazy you are with this and how ridiculously good you are at this. So I'm happy to be here. It's an honor, and I'm happy to see you see this thing come to fruition. So
yeah, man, it's been a wild year. It's been a wild 3 months, to be honest, since we launched. There's a lot of work that's gone into this in the background. Me and like going back a year. But yeah, we're finally here. 2 shows, and yeah, this is the premiere of the SGC, taking it to the wider audience, and hopefully, yeah, we can keep the good times flowing, and everyone can cash with us. That's the hope, right? That's the goal. The goal, no pun intended.
Yes, sir. And you say hope. I mean, at this point, dude, once you see the work he puts in and how close basically everything is, man, to put your faith in him. I'm excited to see how week 1 goes, especially how, following up from last week went. So bring us the money.
That's it. I mean, yeah, like we have a Discord, Playing with House Money Discord. You can jump into that. It's $10 a week. $10 a week? $10 a month. Should be. I should charge $10 a week.
We could, but we're not those type of people.
No, $10 a month. You're spending more than that on, I don't know whatever.
DoorDash.
Yeah.
DoorDash.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, I mean it's easy. You get the soccer stuff, you get Prue's baseball, you're gonna get all of the football content, all of the football bets coming thick and fast. We're diving into this stuff. So yeah, really looking forward. Soccer is picking up now. We're a couple of games through all of the major leagues in Europe. So yeah, just getting to really see what these teams are about this season, and hopefully, yeah, like you said, like it kicks off from last week. We had a few goal scorer winners that were posted out on the Twitter. So looking forward to hopefully diving in and, like you say, carrying that on this week.
Yeah, man, and even the live bet king can use a give me every once in a while. Shout out to you for the 2 live bet second goals. That was a beautiful way to end the night.
Yep, I mean, it's always nice when we do, like a lot of these games, because they're European football, are early mornings. So there's a lot of, Saturdays and Sundays, 7:30 Eastern time we start. A lot of these games kicking off 9:30, 10 a.m. Eastern time. So by the time you roll around to 2 p.m., you've only got a handful of games left. But it's nice then that we've still got some MLS on a Saturday evening.
Sometimes
that can cash us late into the night as well. So
And if you guys
Well,
are anything like me, Ice gives you these plays before 6:30 in the morning Central Time, and you can put them in when I do, like a true degenerate, and then you can wake up to good news, which I have had that happen more times than not with Ice, and I do highly appreciate him for that. So if you're anything like me and you're rolling out of bed, when the game's already over, hey, wake up to some money.
Yep. Wake in cash. Why not? It's the best type of day to wake up, right? When you look at your
Absolutely
DraftKings account in your case, and there's an extra couple of $100 in there.
Yeah, I won't say the only morning start better than wake in cash. So
yeah, let's just dive in, man. I mean, tonight, this afternoon, we have, again, Friday clubs. Not a big fan of the Friday club. Like last season, it's not ideal. We normally have, 1 or 2 games that go off, but there's normally 5 or 6 to choose from. So picking the 2 that do. This week is a little bit different. Like I actually quite like 4 of these games. We have in Germany, Red Bull Leipzig against Stuttgart. Both teams in their first games last week had 5 goals. Stuttgart got beat 5-0 and Stuttgart won 5-0. Leipzig got beat 3-2. So there was goals in those games, and I love Germany for goals. Like it's my favorite, one of the top leagues to bet on, and we'll get more into that when we talk about Saturday's full slate. Or Sunday's full slate, but that's Friday. We have Chelsea taking on New Boys Luton. Chelsea just got beat by West Ham. Chelsea were not great last season in the Premier League. They've spent a stupid amount of money over the last 2 years, but Luton, New Boys to the Premier League, lost 4-1 to Brighton. You'd like to think that Chelsea are kind of going to get a couple of goals at home. If they don't, Chelsea are already on the back foot 2-3 games through the season. So this is one they need to make a statement win here on Friday night in London in front of their home fans. My brother will very likely be there. So if they don't, I'll be texting him. And then in France, we have Nantes taking on Monaco. Nantes lost both their games. Monaco won both of theirs. So again, kind of a fairly one-sided game. Only two games through the season, but Monaco are looking good. And then in Spain, I don't like betting on La Liga much unless it is Real Madrid. And they've gone back-to-back wins to start the league season, and they're away against Celta Vigo. So, yeah, I mean, with these 4 games, I kind of like all 4 of those over 2.5 match goals. It's at plus 558 for the 4. If I'm going to take one out, it's going to be the Chelsea-Luton game, because Chelsea are I'm not losing money on Chelsea. Like I like them to score twice. I like Leipzig, Chelsea, Monaco, and Real Madrid team totals. So 2 home, 2 away. I know you appreciate me splitting them up and not going all of one or all of the other. But that's plus 423 for those four team totals. And I really like the matchups for Monaco and Madrid. They're away, though. Does scare me a little bit, but over 2.5s for those 2, plus 240 and plus 230 each. I'll probably run those straight, the 240 and the 230, and then combine them both at plus 1,000 for the 3 goals for Monaco and 3 for Madrid.
Okay.
But yeah, like not going too heavy. I'm going to run Nicholas Jackson if he starts for Chelsea as the goal scorer. The man was a killer at the end of last season playing in the Spanish league. Premier League is a jump up in class, to be perfectly honest with you, week in, week out. But, I really like him to open his account in this game. Like, again, if he doesn't, questions will start to be asked. The Chelsea faithful will be asking questions. So, yeah, him and probably, Ben Yedder for Monaco is where we'll look. Pretty chalky, that one. But with the fact that they're scoring 3 or 4 goals a game, it's probably even money plus 100. Kind of silly not to take it when they're scoring that many. Yeah, so that's Friday. Just again, light start to the weekend, but don't go too heavy on Friday club. Historically, it's been horrible.
Yeah.
But occasionally we get one, and we hate to miss out on one when it pops. So
Yeah, and it's and all of them have potential. It's just how, you can't call everybody showing up.
No, exactly, and that's what we're looking for. There's a couple of other games on Friday, but those are the 4 that we're focusing on. And then Saturday is when we get into the business. Again, like we said, real early doors on Saturday. We've got some action in the Scottish leagues. Again, when it comes to the Scottish League, I'm literally betting Rangers and Celtic, and that's it. Just it sounds obvious. They're like the only 2 teams in that league you want to bet on. Rangers are away from home. They lost their first game of the season, but they came back and won 4-0 in game 2. So there's a little bit of value on Rangers away from home. Not the best start, but they've been scoring goals. They've just been conceding goals too. And then we have Celtic at home to St Johnstone. There's no value really in taking Celtic on their own.
There never is.
No, like they're plus 1,000 to score twice. Plus 1,000. They're minus 1,000 to score.
I was going to say, wait, what?
If they were plus 1,000, that would be quite value. That would be a lot of value. But yeah, they're minus 1,000 to score twice. So even you're taking 3 goals for Celtic at home, it's going to be minus 200. It's just like, and then you're expecting them to score 4, which okay, right. Most weeks they will, but they're again, like they're going to rock up some days, just score 2 goals and be like, thanks very much, let me go home. Like
right.
we only have to win the game, and that's it. So, like those 2, I don't think I'll be betting anything on them singularly. I will be, taking them in the parlay. But I think it's 2 fairly safe legs to kick off the parlay. We then have Premier League, like I said, starts at 10 a.m. Brentford at home to Crystal Palace is probably one of my favorite games. If you followed me on Twitter or you're in the Discord, people massively underestimate Brentford, man. Like, we got huge value on Brentford a couple of weeks ago, game week 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say week 1 they gave us some give me's.
Yeah, like they played Tottenham. Everyone knows how my it's not necessarily a hatred for Tottenham. I just know that I know who Tottenham are.
Right.
And without Harry Kane, I just knew who they were going to be in that game. Like, it was 2-2 at half time. Brentford, we had the team total. It's going to be the same job again at home to Crystal Palace. Even Tony, their best, or their top goal scorer last season, is out. It's funny, he was suspended for gambling on himself. He was placing bets on himself as first goal scorer.
If he was betting unders, that'd be an issue.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Like, and we'll dive into this probably a little bit on the main show when we get into football season and we talk about Jameson Williams and stuff. And whoever else it is. There's so many players now being suspended for betting on their own team and their own sport. But
they're not betting on themselves. They're not betting on themselves, though. That's my point. Is, bro, you got to double down on yourself, don't you?
Yeah, like,
it should be a stipulation.
But so like he's out, suspended for. I think he's suspended until January. So he's going to miss half the season. And it cost him his place in the England squad as well, end of last year. So it was a big thing for him. Obviously, it's a big thing. Like, they want to cut it out of sport in general. But without him, people thought that Brentford were going to be nothing. But like I said, they've come out. They've shown that they've still got it, and the team that has been built in South London is pretty decent, and it's a London derby. They're up against Crystal Palace, so it's not a long trek for the Crystal Palace supporters. But Brentford, I like them to score a couple of goals, and then we've got later on in the day another South England derby. It's Brighton, who are on the South Coast, against West Ham. Again, another London team. So not a long trip for them. again, there's no long trips in English soccer.
Right.
Like even if it's Brighton traveling to Newcastle, it's like 6 hours on the coach. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we're talking NFL where these guys are traveling 6 hours on a plane when they're going to play on the West Coast and vice versa. So yeah, no long trips, but this is obviously a much shorter one. But again, Brighton have started the season like they were the surprise package last year, and they've come out the doors hot, this year. So again, like West Ham, they beat Chelsea. They put 3 past Chelsea, but I do like Brighton to get a couple of goals here as well. And then we dive over to Austria. I'm just gonna again, this is playing the hot hand FC Salzburg.
Yep.
They've won 3 on the bounce. They're away against Wolfsberger, who have drawn 3 on the bounce. So going with the best team in Austria, Red Bull Salzburg. It just, again, 2 goals. They've scored 2 in their last countless number of games. And then Italy to round us off. We've got the new boys Frosinone. We talked about them on the Playing with House Money episode last week. They played Napoli week 1, lost 3-1 against Atalanta. So their start to the season doesn't get any easier. Atalanta love to score goals. They're a very free-flowing attacking side. And then we have AC Milan against Torino. Christian Pulisic made his debut for AC Milan last week and got on the score sheet. Plus 320, I believe he was. Was very annoyed I didn't post that as an anytime goal scorer bet.
That is some value.
On Monday night. Yeah. So looking at those games, those teams, Rangers, Celtic, Brentford, Brighton, Salzburg, Atalanta, and AC Milan team totals, I'm going all of them over 1.5. I mean, the Brentford, Brighton, Atalanta ones you could probably play on your own. There's some value there playing them straight. But taking all of them over, like we said, like Rangers and Celtic, probably no value in taking them straight. Certainly not Celtic on their own. They're just in there to boost the odds. Just under plus 1,900 for those 7 teams, all to score twice on Saturday. And that lasts us through the day. Like I said, early kickoff, and then it goes, I think the AC Milan game is like 1:30 Eastern time. So it takes us nicely into the afternoon if we can get that run together. All of those games mentioned over 2.5 match goals. It's about plus 3,200. Take out Brentford and AC Milan. Like the Brentford and AC Milan games are the ones I'm concerned about with the over 2.5. If you take them out, it's plus 700 for the other 5 games. Or if you just lower Brighton, which I think I'm going to do, lower Brentford and the AC Milan game to over 1.5, you get a nice plus 1,300. And of course, I love a plus 1,300.
Yes, sir.
So,
and anybody listening on a podcast or an audio or even just watching and need some visual explanation, I know where you can go to get exactly what he's saying. He's going to lay it out for you, and you won't be as lost as you think you are.
Yep. Where is that? What are you talking about?
Anywhere. If anybody's interested in getting more from us, you want to, get public, or you want to get personal, ask us questions, you want to get clarification, you can find us on Twitter. It's at Iceman1013. You can get me at PrewBaby10. You can really just join our Playing with House Money Discord, or you can get to PW_House Money on Twitter and TikTok, and come join our Gilded. We chat Gilded all that we chat in the Gilded live time, and you get quick responses. Just you have a whole community behind us doing it, and obviously you'll get the actual play laid out for you as easy as possible. He even sometimes will shoot you a link right over in the Playing with House Money Discord. It's only $10 a month. We're not going to gouge you for $50 a month. You're essentially going to let us borrow $10 for a couple days, and we'll go ahead and do what we got to do to get you that back, and we'll make it as easy as possible.
And we'll try and put 0 on the end, or 2.
I was going to say, don't stop at 1.
No, especially not when we're talking about, Saturday, my 2 favorite slates.
Mm-hmm.
German Bundesliga, week 1 last week. How this didn't hit last Saturday, I don't think I will ever work out. We basically, so just to let people know, like, so most of these games, there'll be 5 or 6 or 7 games every Saturday morning that kick off 9:30 Eastern time, and we probably play a combination of every game over 2.5 goals, every game both teams to score. Sometimes we'll mix and match, but there's goals in most games in this league most of the time. And last week that was true. We had, I think, 3 games in the bag at halftime over 2.5 goals. The other 3 games, there'd all been 2 goals. We needed 3 goals to cash over plus 10, over plus 1,000. We needed 3 second half goals. We got 2 of them nice and early. And then we were left with, I think it's Wolfsburg. They were 2-0 up after 20 minutes against newly promoted Heidenheim. And I was like, oh, that one's in the bag. Like, Wolfsburg are going to score in the second half. And the game finished 2-0. And that was the one goal we lost by. And it was painful, but you don't get over a painful loss by refusing to bet on them for a couple of weeks. We're going to dive straight back in this week.
Long season.
Yeah, long season. Like all the games, 6 games this on Saturday, all over 2.5 is a lovely plus 1,800. So I am including in there the late game. Now, occasionally I will include the late afternoon on a Saturday game for this. I don't normally, as you know, I don't like necessarily spreading my bets out across the day. Right. I like to just, if the games all kick off at 9:30, 10, I like to have my bets won by midday, not be waiting on a late game or anything like that. But on occasion, I will do it for this league, and this is one of those occasions because the late game is Borussia Mönchengladbach. I will not be spelling that. Also won't be spelling it in the Discord much. They drew 4-4 last week.
Excuse me, one more time?
4-4. So 4-4. So 8 goals against Augsburg.
Who would have even offered the over 7.5? Oh,
yeah.
Nobody.
No, I don't think but that was a cracking start to the season for the neutral. And they're playing at home against Bayer Leverkusen, who beat Leipzig. We already talked about Leipzig being in a 3-2 game last week. Mm-hmm. They lost to Leverkusen, so 5 goals in that Leverkusen opening game.
How do I spell that?
Which one? Leverkusen. Yeah, like some of these names you're just gonna have to trust me on, like that's how you say them. Like, you'll find them. Like, we'll provide you the links.
That should show y'all how deep he is in this hole. Okay, this soccer bag is real and it's deep. I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even gonna bother trying to pronounce it. But he got you. Like, just if that don't show you, I don't know what does.
But we're like I say, plus 1823 for the 6 game slate. Oh, yeah. There's 5 early and then that late game. The games that I really, there's Freiburg against Werder Bremen and FC Cologne against Wolfsburg. I like those both teams to score. The 2 games, so all 4 teams to score in those 2 games, plus 162 for that double.
Oh, yeah, that's good value.
Yeah, and then we have Union Berlin, won 4-1 last week. Got their first 2. I think I had their team total in there, and they were 2-0 up after 10 minutes, something stupid. They're playing away against newly promoted Darmstadt, so I like them to score twice. Borussia Dortmund, absolute letdowns on the bet we posted in the Gilded channel last week. We had a plus 134, I think it was, that was on the Playing with House Money show from last Saturday. Mm-hmm. That one, of course, I added an extra leg, which was Dortmund to score twice, and they decided that they only wanted to score once. We got the first goal scorer though, so kind of made up for it a little bit. But yeah, they're playing against Bochum, who got beat 5-0 by Stuttgart last week. So Dortmund, should get their 2 goals this weekend. And then Leverkusen, as we mentioned, put 3 goals past a decent enough Red Bull Leipzig team last week, playing against that Mönchengladbach team who conceded 4 goals last week. So looking at those 3 teams, Union Berlin, Borussia Dortmund, Bayer Leverkusen, team totals over 1.5. That treble is plus 340. And then we'll degenerately parlay the both teams to score and the team totals for a 10 goals for plus 1,000. Again, 10 goals for plus 10. I'm not going to decline the 10s or the 13s when we come across them. So, yeah. And then my second favorite slate on Saturdays, the MLS. You could basically take every early game, the 7:30 Eastern time starts, take them all over 1.5 goals, plus 400, and be done with it for the day. Like, I think I kind of like all of these games for goals.
In and out.
Yeah, straightforward enough. There's a couple of games in there that you'll know that I don't love betting on. I mean, since FC Cincinnati are one of my favorite teams to bet on, especially at home. But they're playing New York City FC, and they absolutely screwed us last week. So I don't like betting on the New York City teams. So Cincinnati at home would love them at home. Would bet. Playing New York City, I'm not gonna, I'm not necessarily gonna let them bite me twice in a row. Right. And then you've got New York Red Bulls playing into Miami. Lionel Messi, I've faded into Miami all season, but I also faded New York Red Bulls for the entirety of last year and the beginning of this season. So I would be going into Miami to win this game. But again, it's a New York City team, so I'm not betting it. But if you do want to bet it, the safe money is on Messi and Miami to win. And then it's DC United against Philadelphia. And last season, Philadelphia were my absolute boys. But this year,
Man.
They are so hit and miss. They're either scoring 4 or they only score 1. And it's a late goal, and it's none of the big boys. Like Gazdag has...
I was going to say, I had big hopes. I had big hopes for my boy. Gazdag, man. It's been rough.
It's been very rough for him the last few weeks. So, yeah, there's those 3 games that are all on the 7:30 slate, which I will probably stay away from for my actual big bet. We have Atlanta against Nashville. Love that game. Atlanta back at home. Nashville, just got to the Leagues Cup final. Probably should have won the game, if we're honest. But that game, both teams to score an over 2.5. Love that. We've got Charlotte, who are sneaky, one of my favorite teams to bet on for goals this season.
Yeah, they've done well for us.
Yeah, especially playing at home, playing against LAFC. LAFC could put up 3 goals themselves. They could also concede 3 goals. LAFC are like the Barcelona or the Real Madrid of the MLS in that sense. They're just, so over 2.5 goals in that one. Not going to risk it. There's no value to me in taking both teams to score an over, just in case this is 3-0 one way or the other.
Yeah.
Which is a possibility. So taking that one, just the over 2.5 match goals. The same in Columbus. We've got Columbus Crew at home to Toronto. Columbus are on an absolute tear the last, before the Leagues Cup, and they kicked us back off with a few goals in the weekend just gone. And Toronto were horrible before the Leagues Cup. They were terrible. They rocked up. I believe they were away against Montreal, or maybe at home against Montreal, and it was a 2-3 game. Even Bernadeschi scored they were down to 10 men. So again, I like that one. The over 2.5, that could easily be, that could be 2-1, 3-0. So no risks with both teams, just the straight over 2.5 goals there. And then Orlando against my actual boys this season, St. Louis City. I will continue to bang the drum for St. Louis. They are the real deal. I've been saying this since episode 1 of Playing with House Money.
Right.
Same thing this week. They beat Austin 6-3. I think week just gone.
Yes.
Our boy Nicholas Giannacci with the brace, like cashed the second goal scorer for you.
Plus 700.
Yep. So yeah, that one again in Orlando. I like Orlando to get a goal, so that one is back on the both teams to score and over. But if you take those 4 games, the over 2.5s with the both teams to score in the Atlanta and Orlando games, plus 10-17. I really wanted it to be plus 10-13.
I was going to say it was really close, but I like 10-17.
Yep.
Brick Squad, we good. Shout out Gucci. He's going to cash us out.
So that's that one. And then on Sunday, I'm not the biggest fan of like the Premier League games that we get on Sundays, but we've got Burnley against Aston Villa. We've got Sheffield United at home to Man City, so that should be, kind of all Man City. And then we've got Newcastle against Liverpool. And for the uneducated amongst us who have only been following the EPL for the last year or so, Newcastle v Liverpool used to be the game of the season. Like there was a period in the 90s where this game was like 4-3 every game. Like there is very much like they are 2 of like the historic like best games in Premier League history.
Oh wow!
Between Newcastle and Liverpool, and we're getting to the point again where Newcastle are back to that kind of, they're coming back to that like what they were in the mid-90s where they were a force. And they can play, they can score goals. So yeah, that game I really like for that kind of, I think that could go somewhere similar with that, definitely with goals in it. And then we have Bayern Munich playing against Augsburg. Bayern scored 4 last week.
Yeah.
They conceded 1, which was disallowed, which I will mention is the reason I didn't get a sweep last week. That disallowed goal for Werder Bremen. But Bayern scored 4 on their own. They are playing against Augsburg, who we've already mentioned, played out that 4-4 game. So, I mean, that game just has goals written all over it, predominantly for Bayern. But those 4 games, over 2.5 goals is plus 360. Not going to get too fancy with it on a Sunday morning, just straight 4 games over 2.5. And then quite possibly, and I'm going to say this, knowing that I really don't like betting on Serie A at all.
I knew it was coming.
But the Sunday slate for Serie A, I actually really like. And again, it's all 4 home teams.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Home teams, Fiorentina, who are, I believe, they're my team this season. Like Napoli, it was 2 years ago. And then obviously Napoli won the league last season, so they kind of became everyone's go-to. So I'm kind of going, okay, well, obviously I'll still bet them, but the value kind of disappears now because they're the champions. They're included in this, Napoli. They're playing at home to Sassuolo. But Fiorentina, again, we cashed Nicolas Gonzalez, plus 230 anytime goal scorer last weekend. End of last season, we were cashing Cabral, Barak, consistently, like we were winning on these guys. They've got a very strong attacking team. So they won their first game of the season. They beat Genoa 4-1. They were 3-0 up at half time. So they're at home to Lecce this week. Juventus, standard kind of, they won their first game of the season 3-0. They're at home to Bologna. And then Lazio rounds us off. Now, Lazio lost to Lecce 2-1. They were 1-0 up at half time, coasting, conceded 2 very late goals. But they are at home to Genoa, who are the team that lost at home to Fiorentina. So they conceded 4 goals against Fiorentina. Lazio back at home. They're the concern, but Fiore, Juve, Lazio, Napoli, 8 goals, 2 goals each, plus 575. I actually think that's probably my favorite bet of the weekend. Which is saying something, like I said, considering it's Serie A.
it has to be value at that point. Me hearing that is
Yeah.
completely shocking.
No, so that's it. Like, there will be more to come. You know, again, once we get into those games, like, there'll be goal scorers that posted on Twitter again. We'll try and go 3 for 3 on Saturday. We're trying to go 6 for 6 all weekend. There'll be goal scorers posted. There'll be more goal scorers posted in the Discord. Prue mentioned it earlier. We're going to lay all those out for you. We're going to be providing you links so you don't have to listen back to this and be writing it down or be placing them on Friday afternoon.
Not every time, but we will try to get you the links. Okay, let's nip that
Or
now.
At the very least, there will be screenshots.
Yes.
So you know, and explanations for those of you that haven't followed along or don't know basic European geography as to where some of these places are, which countries they're in, and how to find them on FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever sports book you want to use.
Yeah, so let me just stop before he goes into a whole tirade. Okay, congratulations on week 1 again, my brother, and I'm excited to see who tails and whatnot. We do appreciate you guys for listening. Please shoot us any questions on Twitter. Again, it's at PW_housemoney. And good luck with all your bets this weekend. Let us know what you're tailing, fading. Let us know if we just don't know what we're talking about. And if you got any questions, hit us up. Reviews, like, subscribe, get to the YouTube Toys to Titles, get to the Gilded, get anywhere that we are, and we'll get you to where you need to go. We appreciate you all. And the SGC, I'll see you guys next week. It's officially here.
Yes, sir.